Nick Joseph Zeybak. My father's name is Yusuf Zeybak. My mother's name is Zarifa Zeybak. I came to America in 1967. In February 11, 1967. And before that, in Ramallah, my father met my mother when they were in Ramallah. My father's name is Isa Zeybak. مرته سارة زيبك ام ابوي ستي سارة، وكانوا عنده اخوين ثلاثة توفوا، واحد صغير بس ابوي كان اصغر من اصغر واحد، عمي موسى وعمي وعمتي زريفة الوحيدين اللي صفوا من العيلة، انه كان في plague at the time في in Palestine, and typhoid and all these plagues came, and a lot of families and people were died. So, and then Sidi Isa decided to get married again after that because he had young children, and he married a woman, and he had 3 daughters from her, okay, who are stepsisters of my father. My mother was Bint Ilyas Shemiya. Her mother is Maria Shemiya, and she has 3 brothers and a sister, Ziyad Shemiya, Ibrahim Shemiya, and Nabi Shemiya, and her sister is Jadila. Okay, they got married in 32. They had 6 children. My oldest sister, Lillian, then my other sister, Layla, then my older brother, Isa, who's named after Sidi, and then we have my brother, Leon, because Sidi wanted to name everyone after a saint, okay? So there was Saint Pendelaimon, so he chose the name Leon, and my Nick, Saint Nicholas, but then when I was born, he had died when I was, CD. So my youngest brother Suhail was named by my father and mother because he was the easy delivery for them. So Sahaluha, so they called it Suhail. Okay, and at the time we lived in Jerusalem, because my father was working for Singer Sewing Machine Company, and they lived in Jerusalem, in the old city, Jerusalem. I was personally born in Jerusalem in 1944. And then in 1948, the Nakba came, we immigrated to Amman. In the heat of the summertime, going through the Jafar and Dead Sea area, traveling in an open truck to get to Amman. And when we got to, and my mother was 9 months pregnant at the time. And as soon as we got to Amman, my younger brother was born. That's what they called him. So here it took very little time to have it delivered. Anyway, we grew up in Amman the early part of our lives because my father was, as I said, working for Singer Sewing Machine Company. But not only that, but he became the manager of the West Bank and Jordan, okay? And so we resided in Amman because the headquarters was in Amman. But my father always managed to, at the summertime, spend it in Ramallah, to grow up with our cousins and family in Ramallah. And he would come every weekend. He'd come on Thursday night and stay till Sunday and then go home, okay? And it was a beautiful times for us, okay? I went to school in Amman, but I would spend my summer in Ramallah. And that's when I nurtured my upbringing with my friends and cousins, who was just a very simple life, very simple. no formalities. Nobody's better than the other. We're all the same. We studied like together when we went to school, and it was just. If I'm visiting, if I'm playing with my friend and we stepped, or my cousin, and we stepped into a street, into where his father and mother live, he'll take me in and نتغدى سوا. We'll have dinner together. We have lunch together. It was just that kind of life, okay? Anyway, I graduated high school in Amman, and I applied for Birzeit College. I was in Birzeit College in 1961 when I was admitted there, okay? And 62, excuse me, okay? And then I graduated there in 62. And 64, I graduated, and I went to American University of Beirut in Beirut, Lebanon, okay, to study engineering. And I joined the program with them, and I was there for 2 years. And then we get the papers back that we needed for immigration to America, okay? Because we went on a quota, as they call it, and that quota, if you have to answer, you have to go when they ask you. Otherwise, you have to go on the bottom of the list. So we traveled here in 1967 February, me and my older brother, Leon, and already my other brother, who got married to an American girl from our cousins, but who was American-born. And he came here ahead of us, so we had my brother here, and my younger brother also, Sam, who was underage, so my parents were able to bring him with them. And we lived here since 1967 in Long Island, New York. I had a year, 3 semesters to finish school, my engineering school, and I graduated from Hofstra University as an engineer. The community in Long Island at the time was, again, limited amount of people. They started to come after that. And we had a Ramallah club there. We also had our church, and which is an Orthodox church. And I met my wife then in one of those hafles. And then in 1975, we got married. But before that, I had found a job when I graduated to work in Manhattan, New York City, for a construction company called Diesel Construction. And part of our many projects that they had was the World Trade Center at the time was halfway built, and we continued, my company, not me personally, I was to work as what they call a project manager. When a company gets a job, they assign somebody like me to supervise the construction of that job. And that's what I did. I did that for, I would say, five years. And then I left them because my brothers were advancing in their big careers. They had supermarkets and they want to expand on the business. So I gave up my engineering career to help them. So I joined them with my other brother, who was a assistant dean in Adelphi University, my younger brother. And we 4 brothers opened a chain of supermarkets in Long Island, very successful supermarket. And in 1980, 81, 82, we sold them all. And then we said we're going to retire. But our kids were young then, and I have 3 children, my daughter and 2 boys. And all my brothers had big families, and so it was just, So we decided to advance that. After we retired a little bit, we went back into a business of wholesale food distribution that we still currently own. So in 1987, we purchased that property, that business, and we tripled the volume, and we've been successful in that business for the last 30 somewhat years. And so basically, my experience in America has been sweat and tears, you know. You work hard, you study hard, and you achieve, okay? In all through that process, I have developed my affection and my connection with Ramallah and Palestine. It never fizzled out. It was always the flame was there all the time. I had connections with them. I had with the Holy Land, with my land in Ramallah, with my people of Ramallah, and in 1985, I ran for president of the Ramallah Federation, and I became a president in 1985. Actually, the first thing that we normally, like July, is the time when the new president takes over, the old president goes on. And the minute I became a president, we had a message from Hassan Abdul Rahman from the Palestine office in Washington at the time, inviting me to go visit with Arafat. He requested that he visits the new president. So they made plans for us to travel. I took with me two people, my deputy president, my legal advisor, George Saba and Salim Sam'an, and we went to Amman. We met with Abu Ammar, and his message to me at the time was, Nick, we need the Ramallah Federation to help to be the leader. At the time, there's a Palestine Congress was being debated and to be formed in Washington. And they had all kinds of organizations, Ramallah, Bir Zayt, Buan, all of them, and the Fatah, and this and that, they were all getting involved. And he said to us, we don't want to have any of the Fatah or Jabha or anybody to get involved in that. We need it to be American organizations that take the lead in that. We need to keep it clean that way. And that was his message to me. And so when I came back, I introduced that to the board of directors, and they were very, very excited about it, and we sent a representative of our people to the Palestine Congress. And needless to say, things didn't work well with the Palestine Congress, but it's been a rewarding experience. When he asked, I know it was the first time to go back, because I had a strong feeling about not dealing with Israeli presence there. You know, I just couldn't deal with it. Okay, when I left it, it was just us in the West Bank, and it was nice. And then they invaded in 1967, so I didn't want to deal with that. But when I went, first we went to Amman, we didn't go to Palestine. So, and then came back from Amman to here. So I said to Abu Ammar, I'd like to, I was planning to come and visit with you and visit Ramallah, and but not this quickly. I didn't have a chance to make any arrangements. He says, come back. So we made another trip in September or October, went back with more people, and we traveled to Amman, and then we went to cross the bridge into Palestine. And we spent 2 weeks in Ramallah. It was one of the best 2 weeks of my life at the time. The people received us with so much regard at the time. That was probably one of the earliest missions that the Federation had in sending people from America to Ramallah, okay? Because for a while, we just didn't have that connection, okay? And now, as I understand it, every year, somebody goes there and they recreate and renew the connection with Ramallah and Baladi and all that. And in 2014, again, we went back to visit Ramallah for the convention in Ramallah at the time. And my wife, who's an American-born Palestinian from Ramallah, was her first time to visit Ramallah. And it was a rewarding visit for us, and for her especially, because she went to her parents' house and she took a soil from her, brought it back with her. She had that connection, although she's never been there before, but she immediately, that was a strong connection. She's been that way ever since that. She just talks about it, talks about what a connection she had with that visit, okay? We visited my house there, and we visited the Holy Land, we visited Jerusalem, Yafa, Akka, Haifa, and we visited Bethlehem, we visited Al-Quds, and I tried to locate where we were living, where I was born there, but things are changing, okay? And we went to the Holy Sepulchre to visit Al-Qiyamah, and it was an eye-opening experience for me as I look and see the Israeli soldiers with their guns just standing there while you peacefully try to go to a place of worship, and their interrogations and their scare tactics. And anyway, it was my experience in coming here. It's different than some other people who came after 1967. They witnessed the war there. They went through that hardship. They needed to get a Hawiyya. They needed to do this. We didn't have to go through that. It was, and I sympathize with them, because now a lot of my friends who have a Hawiyya, they can't even go to Jerusalem without a special permit just to go visit. Okay, just to go to pray or to go to Mahid, in Bethlehem, and it's just more so when we were in Ramallah and in Palestine. I got the renewed hope that these people, and I've never met more determined people, young, old, women, men. I noticed the strong connection that I had with them. I would go and walk the streets of Ramallah, and I would go hug a kid there, And we wanted to do something for Ramallah. We really did. And it was just, I'm a passionate man when it comes to the Palestinian issue, and it's just my feeling of patriotism, my feeling of love for that land, my birthplace, was just again, a spiritual experience for us. And the only thing that I have to say after that is when we went to Amman. We flew to Amman because when we went 2014, we stayed 4 days in Amman visiting Al-Batra and all the nice places in Jordan. And then we flew to Tel Aviv. We didn't have to go through the bridge. And when we arrived there, they asked me, we came up, my brother and his wife went with us, but they went on a separate line, and I went on this line. And the sad part about it is that my brother and I have two spellings of our last name, because when you wanted to get a passport in Amman, they ask you, "Shu ismak?" and "Qul Zeybak," and they write it away. They don't give you something so you can write your name at the time. Okay, so كتبها زي ما بده زلمة. Okay, when my brother went, he made his own spelling of the name. Okay, anyway, so when we came here, so. As we went through the customs in there, we got this little 18-year-old girl, custom agent, who asked me, and in my passport, when I got my American passport, they said, "Where do you want?" I said, "Jerusalem." He said, "Oh, Jerusalem is there?" I said, "No, Jerusalem. Palestine." He says, "I cannot add Palestine because it's not a state." I said, "Then can we leave it as Jerusalem?" And they left it. Till now, it says I was born in Jerusalem. It doesn't say Jerusalem, Israel, or Palestine, but it does say Jerusalem. So when we arrived there, this 18-year-old custom agent, she didn't know, what is she asking? She says, "Oh, you're born in Jerusalem?" I said, "Yes." She says, "Are you an Israeli?" I said, "No, I'm not an Israeli." She said, but you were born in Jerusalem. You see, that's what Halamor, they brainwashed there. Yeah, that Jerusalem only belongs to the Jews, doesn't belong to anybody else. If you're born here, then you must be a Jew. So my wife, she gave her passport and she just stamped it, okay, good. But me, so she sent me for interrogation inside, in the back there. They took my passport and I had to go in the back to somebody there. And when I walked to the room, there's a waiting room and then the office there. In the room, my brother was there with his wife. And my brother is married to a Greek girl, and she was detained because of, So I'm waiting. Finally, he asked me to come in, and the man says, and not my wife, just me, okay, because my wife had nothing to do with it at the time. And he says to me, let me ask you something. In 1944, you were born in Jerusalem. I said, yes. But in 1948, your brother was born in Amman. Why? You see, what they trick you is that because the names are not the same, they want to make sure that if you say, no, our brother, what are you talking about? But if you accepted the fact that they know what they're talking about, I said in 1944, we were living in Jerusalem, and I was born. And in 1948, we immigrated to Amman, to Jordan, and that's when my brother was born. It's simple. He gave me my passport, my brother's passport, my sister-in-law's passport. He says, okay, go ahead. So all I'm saying, this is Texas, and I heard stories of people that were detained and this and that. So I will always fight for the state of Palestine. I'm very active on Facebook, and I keep putting that every morning. First post is hello Palestine, hello Ramallah, hello Sha'b al-Falastini. And this is what I hope. I'm 75-year-old right now, and I want to move on with the message that Palestine is for Palestinians. And the message of love, not necessarily violence, but love and determination. And I garnished a lot of friends all through the country here. And I'm lucky to have that opportunity to be connected with all these people. As much time as I would not want to be spending time with my friends and family in every conventions and media meetings. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. America has been good to us, okay? But we were good to America, okay? We worked hard, we accomplished, we survived, and we got somewhere, okay? And it's because of our background, our parents wanted us educated. Every one of us, educate. So we got that to educate our kids and our grandkids and all that. Now I'm happily retired, and I'm just waiting for the finals. So this is my story coming to America. It's been a very, very rewarding experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else. I'd love to go back and live in Palestine once there's a state of Palestine. I would gladly sell everything here and go live there. Yes, I would, in a second. And my wife would too, by the way. Although she's American-born, but she loves Ramallah. She loves Palestine. She loves Jerusalem. She loves the holy, the Al-Mahd. And she just had that connection that just inspired her inside. It was her first trip ever to Palestine. Yeah, it was very nice. My children were raised in a friendly environment of cousinship, because my brother lived across the street from us, so his kids and my kids were together. My two other brothers lived around us. So every Christmas or every holiday, every Easter, we'll get together and we'll have the best connection of cousinship. Started with that. And then the Arabic music, and then the Arabic food. المحشي, ورق دوالي. They don't live without it. They cannot live without it. Okay, my son married a Ramallah girl. Okay, and they live in Houston. They have 3 beautiful children, and he is connected with the Ramallah Club there, community and all that. My daughter lives in Long Island here, and she has such strong connection with her culture. She's married to a Greek, but her connection is strong to our community. We taught him how to be a Christian first. We taught him how to be a Palestinian, okay, because it's related, okay, and just going through that, thinking about it as you asked that question, is that what did we do right? We showed them by example. I have a strong connection with my brothers and my culture, and my Ramallah Club was always a strong connection for us. So we always had Ramallah Club meetings. We always had functions. We held conventions in Ramallah and New York for the Ramallah Club, and also the church connection. And it's, by the way, in our community in Long Island, it's connected. The Ramallah Club, the church, the Birzeit Club, Jordanian Club are all connected together. We are one happy community together. And that's where we kept our children in that environment of, this is your cousin, this is your sir. And it's just, we had family reunion 2 years ago in in Virginia. And everybody showed up from California, from here. It was magnificent. It was, and the kids were so connected. And now the kids, they have all this, they connect together easily, on Facebook, on. Right now, as the older members like us, getting old and getting less active in the Federation, we are finding a reignitement of the youth in our federation. They have their own conferences, youth conferences. Only them, they go there. Like in Ramallah Club in New York right now, we just elected 4 new officers, 5 actually. Nobody under over 30 years old. They're all young people, okay? All young people. And they did such a magnificent job. So they are excited to be involved. And, we give them the opportunity to meet each other. And we don't put limits on how you can get connected. We don't have that old-fashioned, the girl has to be separate from the boy. We just give them the liberty of dealing with each other in their own way. And they know their space. And they know their limits. And it just comes from watching their parents, watching their cousins. And it's again, we live by example. We teach by example. And the connection that the youth right now, this whole convention right now, is run by 4 youths. I mean, there's a lot more involved, but the convention leaders are 4 people. 2 girls and 2 boys. I don't think anybody's over 30 on that, okay? And it's amazing how much they accomplished. They reached out to the adults. We helped them any way we can, but the final decision was theirs. And look at the magnificent job they've done today and this week. It's just, and again, that comes from their passion, because they see what we did and they say, okay, I want to be like that. And again, the community sense. And then these kids that are connected together socially and all that, they have their own, they have a youth camp in California coming up. We had a youth camp in Colorado. And we have all this, just like, the church camp in the Antiochian Orthodox Church, they have a youth camp. We are duplicating similar to that for Ramallah, okay? So we can just, the only limits is the age. Who do you got to be between the age of this and that, but we don't put any other limit. And we fund them. We help them travel. We help them with the fees that they require. And that's why we work so hard in our lives to have this beautiful organization, and we need to extend the benefits of that relationship to our youth. And they're going to be terrific leaders because they're smarter than us. In so many ways, because we still some of us have the old-fashioned phone and all that, but but mostly they're a lot smarter than we are. in so many ways, and I give them credit, and I love every one of them. And by the way, they're connecting with the Birzeit youth, connecting with the Jordanian youth, they're connecting with other organization youth on their own. On their own, and we don't discourage that. We want them to have that. As you said, because we want by example, maybe the youth from Birzeit will do the same thing that we do. And once we have that strong base for Birzeit, we can go to the Bijal and whatever other Ramallah or Palestinian organization, we can ignite that passion through the youth connecting together. And hopefully, our cause will never die as long as there's one Palestinian left. Our last breath is Palestine.